I'm the best from the city.
Lob to AD.
Honey fiend chasing green, do the best for tomorrow. Shooting hoops, remember playing ball right at Apollo. I'm the latest in my city.
Good music and the NBA both back on Tuesday. Lakers, Clippers, second half of the doubleheader. NBA did it in the bubble to end last season. This time the NBA players are in the real world with real consequences. Threat of infections and cancellations. The few openers that will have fans will be small crowd affairs. Clippers, Lakers, no fans for the foreseeable future. Here's the commish.
I've acknowledged it was a mixed sort of health and safety and economic decision to start our season, meaning that, you know, health and safety have always been our highest priority, but we recognize that if we hadn't started the season, there are also very dire economic implications. What we've said before in terms of our projections, at an extreme, if you had played the entire season, including playoffs, with no fans at all, that would be a decrease of roughly 40% in our revenue. You know, the view is, I think if we found a situation where our protocols weren't working, meaning that not only did we have some cases of COVID, but that we were witnessing spread, you know, either among teams or even possibly to another team, that would cause us to suspend the season.
Adam Silver there, and now to the People's Commissioner, Rachel Nichols. Adam Silver talking about COVID, also talked about some other things, and one thing really stood out to me. It got me in my soul. Rachel, what was that?
Well, Kenny, I want to speak to you and all of your Seattle brethren. For the first time in a long time, Adam Silver said that the league was, quote, dusting off some of the analyses on the economic and competitive impacts of expansion. Now, I want to note the NBA hasn't awarded an expansion team in 18 years. And doing it right now, Adam said, not yet on the front burner. But he did say, quote, we have been putting a little more time into that than they were pre-pandemic. And that, of course, is an allusion to the fact that if the NBA sold the rights to an expansion team now, it would then net the league at least $1 billion, money it could use. So, Kenny, I think I hear Seattle's theme music. It is time to dig those Bring Back the Sonics t-shirts out of your drawer.
Yeah, we got a new building being completed. Also, I'm going to put a vote in for Vancouver. That was a nice little Northwest thing we had going. All right, I don't know everything, but one thing I do know that the rumors are now facts. James Harden does not seem to want to play basketball anymore in Houston. They're trying to make a deal. Who knows where it's going to be? Here's what he had to say about it.
James, now that you've been in camp for about a week, do you feel any better about this situation now than you did before you arrived?
Next question.
So he didn't want to talk about it. Do you? Yeah. And where is this thing going?
Well, look, the big question is, when is he going to be dealt? And the truth is, he's going to be dealt when there's a team that's desperate enough to have him. And right now, I don't see a team that's in that position. And I'm phrasing
your podcast.
Yeah, longest season in NBA history, followed by the shortest offseason. We're inside of 24 hours to tip in Brooklyn. First game of the season will be a reuniting. Former Sonic Kevin Durant, now with the Nets, up against his last team, the Warriors. First game in league play since the Achilles injury suffered in the 2019 title series. Here's Durant on facing his old team and a new chapter in his career.
Playing against old teammates never really ratcheted me up. I feel like I always am on that level no matter who's on the floor. I feel like each game is important to me, and it's no more of importance because I'm playing against my old teammates. And I just feel like the game of basketball is going to have me on that level anyway, and it's going to be good to see some of my old teammates, good to play against them.
I know how important those championships were to you with the Warriors, but in making the decision to come to the Nets, how critical was it just to have something that you can call your own, so to speak?
I try not to make myself bigger than the group, but I know what I add to a basketball club, and I felt that way with the Warriors. So it wasn't about me going to the Nets to try to prove that I can make my own thing, whatever the hell that means. It's just that I'm coming here to play basketball and add to a group of great guys.
Well, the pairing of Durant and Curry in Golden State was one for the books. They were just the third duo to average more than 25 a game in 3 straight seasons each. As for Curry, coming back from injury himself. Maria Taylor caught up with number 30 ahead of a season filled with question marks.
He's back! Number 30, Stephen Curry!
With everything that you've been through, what will it mean for you to take the court, being able to play with your teammates again this season?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind, you know, starting last year with kind of high hopes of kind of reinventing Warrior basketball. And then I obviously broke my hand and 4 months of rehab to come back and play one game, and then the season got postponed and we don't get invited to the bubble. You know, meanwhile, there's a pandemic going on, and you know, watching basketball from that perspective in the bubble, watching the playoffs was weird. But it gave me personally a newfound appreciation for the chase and putting the work in to hopefully get back to that level.
You kind of come into a season where people are talking about you having to chase instead of being the ones that are being chased. What's it like to be in that position this year?
We have that championship DNA, but we have new faces, so it's about kind of blending the leadership aspect of it, the expectation to be great personally on the floor and do what I'm capable of doing.
You mentioned that when you found out about Clay's injury, it was a gut punch to you. How would you describe the emotions that followed after hearing that news?
I mean, it was rough. You know, we all know rehab's difficult and it's a long journey, and you know, coming off an ACL like that to not have to go through an Achilles, you know, thankfully there's been examples around the league of guys that have done it. You see John Wall, you see KD, so expect the same for Clay, but it's tough. You want your brother out there right alongside you.
Playing without him is a tremendous challenge, but it offers up an opportunity for other players on your team to kind of step up.
I mean, our roster's pretty interesting. You look at Wiggins and Kelly Oubre, who've been focal points of other teams, but have an opportunity to kind of adapt to how we do things, and hopefully we can unlock another level for them to get to, because we're going to need, you know, every bit of it throughout this season. Off the bench, Kim Bazemore, Brad Wanamaker, Damian Lee, Jordan Poole, young guys that have shown promise and are committed to making that jump. Who knows what it's going to look like, but I think we have the ability to surprise a lot of people this year.
What do the Golden State Warriors have to prove?
That we're different, that no matter what, you know, the experts may say or where they kind of rank us going into the season, we know what we're about. Well, we need to know how to do it a lot of different ways. That's the exciting part about what this season can bring.
Let's check in with our friends at Caesars William Hill. Got the Warriors win total set at 37.5, which actually can't happen. That ranks 8th in the West. Our NBA insiders agree, projecting the Warriors to finish 500, 9th in the West. However, ESPN's BPI, less bullish, expecting them to finish 2nd from the bottom. ESPN's BPI, really tough on people. Warriors will be without Draymond Green for the opener, but James Wiseman is expected to make his NBA debut.
And it feels like it was like a year ago, but it's only been 10 weeks since the Lakers won the franchise's 17th championship. Now the quest to repeat begins tomorrow. The defending champs open up their season against their LA rival, the Clippers, at Staples Center. And the Lakers have a roster just as stacked as they did last season. They've got Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder. Here's Frank Vogel on the upcoming season.
You know, I don't think we're as ready as we would like to be. You know, I think like I said, like we've been saying all along, we're not feeling sorry for ourselves in any way, but you know, the short off season and the condensed preseason, you know, has us in a place where, you know, we're probably going to be still figuring things out, you know, the first month or so of the season, and we'll probably have some ugly nights along the way, some ugly moments, and that's to be expected, and that's okay, because we got a good team. We have a good group of guys that are willing to come in and sacrifice to win a championship. And you know, I'm not really worried about that big picture, but we're definitely not as ready as we normally would be to start a season. But that's okay.
Ryan, I got to get one of those masks. Yeah. Tomorrow night, the Lakers will be meeting Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, who will be led by their new head coach and former Laker Tyronn Lue. He replaces Doc Rivers. Lue plans to implement sets of triangle offense, hoping to use Kawhi in ways that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan played. Kawhi can become a free agent after this upcoming season, but he wants to keep the focus on right now.
For my situation right now, I'm just focused on this season. You know what I mean?